Thank you for joining us on Business Now. I am Frank Omalape. And now the World Bank says Nigeria's constant fiscal deficit has worsened the nation's public debt stock, with 96.3% of government revenue spent on servicing debt in 2022. This was according to the Macro Poverty Outlook for Nigeria, April 2023 brief released by the bank. The report said the fiscal position of the country deteriorated as in 2022. The cost of the petrol subsidy increased from 0.7% to 0.3% GDP. Low non-oil revenues and high interest payment compounded fiscal pressures. The fiscal deficit was estimated at 5% of GDP in 2022, breaching the stipulated limit for federal fiscal deficit of 3%, and this has kept the public debt stock at over 30% of GDP and pushed the debt service to revenue ratio from 83.2% in 2021 to 96.3% in 2022. The bank also said that the cash scarcity created by the CBN's Naira redesign policy hampered the country's economic growth and poverty reduction efforts. About 13 million Nigerians will become poor between 2019 and 2025. The World Bank also said that the worsening economic environment in the country had pushed millions of Nigerians into poverty. And in the meantime, the International Monetary Fund says the recent slowdown witnessed in foreign direct investment, especially in developing countries, can be linked to the divergent trade patterns among countries, with flows increasingly concentrated among geopolitically aligned countries, particularly in strategic sectors. It said the new development will affect emerging markets and developing economies, given their reliance on FDI from geopolitically distant countries. In its World Economic Outlook, Rocky Recovery Report, the Washington-based lender said rising geopolitical tensions such as Brexit, trade tensions between the United States and China, and Russia's invasion of Ukraine posed a challenge to international relations and could lead to a policy-driven reversal of global economic integration. According to the IMF, foreign direct investment is cross-border investment through which foreign investors establish a stable and long-lasting influence over domestic enterprises. A decrease in FDI has been particularly visible, with global FDI declining from 3.3% of GDP in 2000 to 1.3% between 2018 and 2022. Foreign inflows into Nigeria have fallen drastically over the years, with inflows falling by 77.79% from $23.9 billion in 2019 to $5.3 billion in 2022. The IMF report said the recent slowdown in FDI has been characterized by divergent patterns across host countries, with flows increasingly concentrated among geopolitically aligned countries, particularly in strategic sectors, adding that several emerging markets and developing economies are highly vulnerable to FDI relocation, given their reliance on FDI from geopolitically distant countries. And our finance ministers from various Commonwealth countries have stressed the need for systemic reform of the global financial architecture to enhance access to development financing for vulnerable countries. This was according to a statement on Sunday by the senior communications officer at the Commonwealth Secretariat, Snoba Abasi. According to the statement, the ministers agreed for India to be the chair and Nigeria to be the deputy chair of the finance ministers' working group. This agreement was reached at the inaugural Commonwealth Finance Ministers High-Level Working Group meeting in Washington, D.C. In April 14, where finance ministers discussed national fiscal policies, measures for financial sustainability, eligibility criteria for development finance, and potential reforms required for a more equitable financial architecture. The minister also stressed that reforms must increase funding and consider the realities of vulnerability when allocating support to help vulnerable countries. The Commonwealth Secretary General, Patricia Scotland, in her opening remark, highlighted that the Commonwealth Universal Vulnerability Index provides a solid basis to better target support for those who need it the most. Away from there now, Ondo, Bayelsa and Lagos State recorded the highest rate of inflation in March 2023. This was according to the latest National Bureau of Statistics data inflation across the country, which was released on Saturday. According to NBS, Nigeria's headline inflation rate for March 2023 rose to 22.04% compared to February 2023 headline inflation rate, which was 21.91%. This showed an increase of 0.13% point when compared to February 2023 headline inflation rate. At the sub-national level, the inflation rate on a year-on-year basis was highest in Ondo and Lagos and Bayelsa. On the flip side, Borno, Cross Rivers State, Sokoto and Benue State recorded relatively lowest headline inflation on a year-on-year basis, recording 19.18%, 19.24% and 20.01% respectively. On a month-on-month basis, the March 2023 recorded the highest increases in Bayelsa State with 2.58%, Nasarawa State 2.5%, Lagos 2.41%, where Anambra State 1.03%, Ebonyi 1.14%, and Zamfara 1.27% recorded the slowest rises on month-on-month inflation. And for food inflation on a year-on-year basis, Kwara State was highest with 28.84%. Ondo State followed at 28.22%, and Lagos State was in the third spot with 27.92%. State with the lowest or slowest rise in the food inflation includes Sokoto State with 18.99%, Zamfara State with 20.75%, and Plateau State with 21.83% respectively. And in the meantime, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency has said Nigeria's vast underutilized blue economy offers huge opportunities for growth and development, adding that it will help the country to overcome its present economic challenges. In a statement, the Director General of NISMASA, Bashir Jamal, saying this while speaking as a guest lecturer at the Bullion Lecture organized by Center for Financial Journalism held at the Civil Center, Victoria Island, Lagos. Jamal lamented the failure of Nigeria's successive government to explore the vast resources that the blue economy offers. He explained that the blue economy could be used to knock off Nigeria's huge debt profile, which drags the development effort and makes poverty thrive amidst plenty. He added that the sea business is in vogue globally and that Nigeria's future lies in blue economy. Jamal added that Nigeria has over 200 nautical miles available for fishing, yet lacks in the sustainability which the blue economy offers. The NIMASA Director General stressed that Nigeria must develop appropriate policy interventions that focus on exploring and exploiting the huge opportunities of blue economy anchored on good governance. He observed that Nigeria's economic structure has not provided a window for diversification to thrive because of its inclination to a traditional mode of producing goods and services.